Hi friends, it's Angie, Power Disney and Jesus again. And we've been brainstorming for an hour and still uncovering more connections. And we're just ready to bring you up to date a little bit. For those that follow Fraud and Corruption UK on Twitter or YouTube, some of this might not be new to you, but for those that follow my work or prefer a narrative to accompany the technical discoveries, we're just going to do an update. And then just to kind of get grounded in the day, Matt Taylor had a great live stream on YouTube yesterday, and it's on his blog, where he was brought up to speed on the Joanne Solis connections, the ex-husband with bestiality porn, and a partner that was a serial killer, apparently, who confessed to the murder of Millie Dowler. And I just find that very close, uncomfortably close connection to the fact that Gordon Bowden offered the £20,000 worth of camera equipment to Brian Harvey to use. And Brian Harvey, a lot of his case is parallel with the Millie Dowler hacking, the little girl that was murdered, and then her phone was hacked into, and her parents thought she was still alive. It was horrendous for them that they thought that she was, you know, the fact that there was still activity on her phone meant there was still hope. So Joanne Solis seems to be a common denominator in this. She's worked with Gordon Bowden and then seems to be maybe taking over. And so anyway, Matt Taylor did a brilliant Jesus shared some intel. I was familiar with some of it. I was familiar with her can't pay, we'll take it away, ex-partner, and the bestiality porn, which was very disturbing. But I didn't know about the connection to the Millie Dowler murderer, the serial killer. And that brings it uncomfortably close to Brian Harvey. So I'll put a link to that live stream. It was long, but dip in and out and find the parts of it. And the parts where Matt is realizing, it's like whenever we do the analysis of a troll, it's absolutely shocking because they've been hounding us for years and saying, oh, you're a scammer and you're a pedo and you're this and you're that, you're a child abuser. And when you actually look into the background of some of these trolls, it is gobsmacking. It is like, and these are the people that have been trying to ruin my life and my reputation. It's just shocking. So I'll share a link to that. And then the other thing, just to address quickly, and I probably will do an in-depth rebuttal with some evidence, but for now, I'll just say John Wedger gave me an order to stand down from the internet, just saying I was extremely damaged and weird, and I was doing more harm than good, and I should just get off the internet. So thoroughly insulting. He was extremely abusive towards Brian Harvey. You know, Kat Scott, who's done amazing work, had millions of hits on her blog, Spider Cat Web, extremely abusive to her. And the only troll he called out that I could sort of get behind was Yolanda Kenwood. Everybody else are, in my opinion, truth tellers that have been working in this field for a long time, had millions of views, hits, whatever, and worked tirelessly. And the questions that still need to be answered or could be answered by John Wedger, it's not answering questions when you just abuse and name call and insult and, you know, even attempt to slander, saying, you know, we could possibly be pedos. That's not answering questions. So John Wedger, you know, watch this space. You know, you're high flying. You seem to have taken over the survivor movement in the UK along with your colleagues, and you're doing some good work, and I would not take that from you, but you will not tell old time, long time survivor whistleblowers to stand down and just base it on you insulting them and abusing them in your stream. and then claiming at the end of your stream that you did it very respectfully. I hope Brian Harvey does a rebuttal interview as well. But to be honest, Brian has shown so much evidence that you and Bill Maloney and Ian Puddick have questions to answer in order to embed your credibility. You know, maybe we could make evidence videos till the cows come home, but you know, you're on a train that seems to be non-stop at the moment. So, you know, good luck, but I hope Brian Harvey makes a rebuttal. Right, so we'll get back onto the main. We're kind of two-pronged, partly, or my main priority is I'm a Christian and I want to tell people about Jesus, the other Jesus. My second thing is I'm a survivor, and I'm an MK Ultra survivor. I'm a military child abuse, you know, experiments, drugging, paedophile ring survivor. That's, you know, that's who I am. And the third strand is that the thing that has got me targeted the worst of my life, and I've had some targeting and assassination attempts, but the worst consistent reputation destruction targeting has been since I picked up the Hampstead children's case. And just on the John Wedger thing, that's the one last thing I'll say, was that I think in the early days he denied that case, and I think it crossed his desk on more than one occasion, and like many others he avoided it. And I think because myself and others have not backed off, despite the trolling and persecution, he finally is sort of saying here and there that yes, he believes the children. And I'm very grateful for Wilfred Wong, who speaks much more bravely on that subject. But I will try and set aside the time to do a detailed analysis of why I believe John Wedger has some questions to answer, and why I think even Brenda McNamara was dissed in the comments of his live stream. To rebut evidence with insults, to me, is just despicable. So let's just move on to where we're at with Finchley Road, Pandora's Box, and the Hampstead case, because the level of evidence that's mounting and mounting and mounting, it kind of makes me think that the attempted harassment case against me in Ireland seems to be changing direction away from Ricky Dearman. And it may be because the level of evidence that is piling up, thanks to Jesus and his team and past researchers, if that were to come out in court, it would be laughable that people like me are being gone after for harassment, when all we've done is try to expose the length and depth and breadth, you know, not just of what the children disclosed, but of the paper trails online and the evidence online, which needs professional investigation. So let me go to your channel. I'll do a screen share. So give us an update how you are and what's going on in your corner of the world before I go to screen share.
How are we doing, Angela? How are you doing, guys? Everyone who's watching. We're doing good. We're just basically, as before you show my channel, I'll just explain. Like some people might know from the audience, Angela, through some of the videos that I've done. Started on 788, 790 Finchley Road in the very, very, very beginning. And obviously when you have to get to somewhere, you have to uncover everything. You have to go step by step. It's a marathon, not a race or a sprint. It's a marathon.
Absolutely.
Filmer.
Yeah.
And if you want to get to the end prize, do you get me? By unraveling everything, you have to go for the main target. Do you feel me? And obviously within the main target, there's always boundaries you've got to overturn, or you've got to get past or bypass, do you know what I mean, to get the information what you want. And as what you can see, it's like a triage of people Do you know what I mean? Bouncing off of each other, though they're all connected, whichever way you want to look at it. And like, I'm going to say a disclaimer before, like, if we, you know, like, just a disclaimer, but we're not mentioning, like, people's names, like, when we, like, go through it, for an example. But as we was going to say about Hampstead research versus Hoaxstead research, some of the videos on my channel, I put one of the videos up there from, I think I don't know when it was from. It was a few years ago. It might be. I'm not sure. It might even be a year and a half ago. It might be a bit further back from that. But as you can see on my channel, I've got Finchley Road. I've got the build-up of the Hoaxstead trolls, how they was attacking other people, and how the Hoaxstead trolls are brought in to Finchley Road by Karen Irvine through Pandora's box, because Pandora's box were obviously supposed to be exposing Finchley Road, and we wanted to see the evidence on this camera equipment. We wanted to see the bigger picture, basically, like from their eyes. Like, Gordon did his work. Who was the people who were supposed to be exposing the bigger picture? Obviously, people was wanting to see more. Well, there was, as we know, as most people do know, you got Tavistock. You've got the Pin Down Project, Barbara Kahan, Lord Janner, Peter Wrighton, NSPCC, all them charities, Esther Ranson. You've got, obviously, you know, judges, barristers, all these kind of people, social workers, childminders, solicitors, even schools. And this is like, it's mind-blowing to think how all these people are all connected to all these by shares, one share.
Yeah, by shares and by mutual companies. This is the kind of work that Amazing Polly is doing in America. It's the same as Bill Gates is connected to Dr. Fauci, is connected to blah, blah, and so on. This is the same in the child abuse institutionalization and cover-up in the UK and beyond over decades. It's about strategically placing people in places of power. And sadly as well, I think it's about possibly what started off as good whistleblowers getting compromised, getting sent in on. So at the moment, my opinion on Gordon Bowden is that he was doing brilliant research because his partner got ripped off for 50 grand. And he decided, you know, like a very forensic analyst, decided to get to the bottom of that. And I think he did do brilliant research, and he hoped that the BBC would pick it up, or Scotland Yard would pick it up, or, you know, Interpol, MI5, MI6, any of them would pick it up. And then as it became more and more obvious that nobody was going to take it anywhere, I'm very suspicious about where Joanne Solis showed up in the equation, and where Gordon Bowden backed off and said, I've had a visit from Special Branch and they've told me not to associate with Hampstead and not to associate with Andy Devine and not to associate with John Winoa. And he started to backtrack. And then it's just very interesting to me that Joanne Solis showed up and he thought she was a brilliant researcher and she was a great asset to his business and his project. And he probably by then was a bit disillusioned because nobody had done anything with his research.
While you're on this point, well, I know while you're on this point about John Solis and Pandora's box.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to digress onto that, but it's all connected.
Yeah, no, it's fine. No, it's fine. While you're on this point, in the very beginning, while we're talking on 788-790 Finchley Road, she tried, remember the group on Facebook?
Oh, yeah, because she joined a Zoom group and I was very naive and I thought, oh, yeah, I'll join a Zoom group. That's no problem. And I think within 2 weeks, she was sending private messages. Oh, let me give you the dirt on Angela Power Disney. Let me tell you about Eddie is okay. He's a Black Panther and Angela's the this and that. And it's like, and I just pulled out the group. I'm just like, whoa, do you know what I mean? We have been infiltrated with red lights, you know.
We'll break it down more as well, right? This is how this woman, right, tried to set Eddie's okay up, right?
I remember.
Yeah.
I remember she found some stupid photograph of somebody 2 decades different in age from him and said he was a Black Panther or so. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
I found the picture on Google.
Yeah, and they did another one with who was it? With Andy Devine. They found somebody in Scotland 2 decades different in age from him that had been to prison for blah blah, and said that was Andy Devine. And the same with there was somebody I was interviewing, and they found somebody in Cornwall with the same name with a criminal record, and they just put this shit out there. It's just classic.
You know, the classical thing, Angela, what she did was she said to Eddie's, okay, right, can you find a company, right? The company, is it called Swift? And this is what it was, Swift Incorporations. Oh, because Eddie said it to me. Where we're hearing it from, obviously, is from somebody else. We ain't going to say his name, but you know who were referenced to him. He said it before. He's put a video up, but I put my video up a long time ago on this company, right? And we asked her, oh, what's happened to this company? It doesn't exist. Well, it does exist. Because it's connected to Christchurch, it's connected to Finchley Road, connected to Karen Irvine's sister's husband.
Wendy, yeah? And Wendy, what's the husband? Is he called David?
Lars like Iverson.
Oh right.
See, so this is just how it all played off. And
I know.
She knew that we knew. You get me? She knew that we knew. Karen was connected to 78879 Finchley Road by one company services. So I'm thinking, hey, up a minute, let's just wave it in front of her. Right, long story short, fam, that was it.
Yeah, you did a brilliant thing, and you said to Joanne Solis, can you put this on Pandora's Box page? Look what I found. And she wouldn't approve it. And that was the first clue. That was the first clue. It was a gatekeeper.
The first clue, and I even put it on there. There was 4 admins in the group, I think it was, or 3.
Yeah.
And she was obviously.
And Andy Devine tried to warn Gordon and said, "Look, you've got a wrong in there. You've been infiltrated." And Gordon wouldn't have it, would he?
No, wouldn't have it, because when I checked that first time, right, they was like, oh, Jesus is lying. I thought, all right then.
No, I remember all this.
I thought, all right then, we'll leave it.
Yeah, let it go and keep watching. Yeah. And now it comes to... All right.
I pulled it out and...
I know, it was brilliant. Right, I'm going to go to screen share. And the first place I'm going to go to is your channel, just to catch up my viewers. And for those that read Matt Taylor's very nice blog about me having a down day and saying I felt suicidal, but I wouldn't act on it. Thank you for your concern. You know, and this is not easy work. But anyway, let me just go to... What have we got? Fraud and corruption. Here we go. Here's your channel. Now, can you see this?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to go back to approximately the last time. So yeah, I'll update people on my personal situation with the Irish police and Google and the DPP. But basically, the bottom line is I think they're trying to gear it away from Dearman, and it may be because of the level of evidence that is piling up connected to Ricky Dearman and his online digital footprint. Right, so let's go back to where we did our last show. You've been busy, well done. Our interest in Gordon Bowden 3 weeks ago. I think it's about a month. Here we are. This is where you followed up from the work we did last time, which was connecting the New York Times and the BBC on the same onion of distribution of baby snuff movies emanating out of Hampstead, connected to Lighthouse Media, which is Ricky Dearman's company. So everything is connected. Pizzagate, Royals, VIP. Just tell me any of these videos to dip into that we're just going to dip in and out to bring people up to date, and then I'll send them to your channel.
Go further down. I'm going to say, can you go further down a little bit, yeah?
Yeah.
That one there, the purple box where it says private. Right, that's
Hampstead evidence times 3. This one.
That's the one. Yeah, that's one of them.
All right, I'll go in there. And you talk through.
Yeah, this here, what is here is in the dark web. This is in another onion, or I should say another mirror, where as I'm typing in the search thing, this is where it's in the dark web, basically. On the previous video that I did, I did it in another onion, or mirror, I should say, and they're different onions in the dark web bouncing off of each other with the same information. So you've got it in 2 mirrors, 2 onions bouncing off each other via Tor browser in the dark web. So that's the same thing again.
Okay, so we come out of that video now?
Yeah. So
right, okay, no, because I want to dip in and out of several of them. That we'll come out of that one, and then we'll go right by appointment. The children do not lie. Is that one you want? Just tell me which ones to dip into to give people an idea of the evidence piling up. Tell me which one to go into next.
I'll let you go to. I'm gonna say you can pick any one you want.
What about this? Why all the socks? Well, it's a bit boring. I think everybody knows that Ricky Dearman runs between 30 and 60 troll accounts. Pedo symbols on. No, we don't need to go there. Ella Gariva, yeah, with Albert Lambremont Weber. Why all the socks? Troll accounts. Ricky Dearman, Z-list actor. You just tell.
That's the one with the email and the baby stuff where we was taking screenshots of people, i.e. he was using me an example where he was storing screenshots where people who were obviously saying stuff about him.
Right, yeah, because we proved that with Hoaxted Research Expose that and Spidercat Web blog and Hope Girl blog both did excellent work proving that they have a GCHQ level of files on about up to 100 people where they forensically save everything we ever say online and everything we ever do, and then they maliciously edit, cut and paste and do things with that. So okay, so we've got Why All the Socks. Tell me which one to go into next. Hampstead Baby Snuff Movies. That's pretty much what we covered in my last show. Should we have a look at that? Let's have a look.
Yeah, I think that's the one we covered, didn't we?
Oh, that was our show, right? Okay.
If people didn't see.
Okay, so you just mirrored that. That's great. Why All the Socks and Troll Accounts, Ricky? Hampstead cover up. Are you a robot? What's that about?
I'll let you click it.
Okay. Now this is perfectly legal because the children's faces are blurred out.
What else are you going to stop?
And stop killing babies. Stop killing babies and you have to face
You're going to face your fear. Fear is what?
Fear is my fear.
You're going to help us to catch. Who are you going to help us to catch?
All the people. Papa, school.
All the policemen, all the social services.
Speak up, speak up.
All the shopkeepers, all the cafes, all the pizzas, McDonald's.
Who did you mention just now? Who? Cat what?
Kafkas.
Who's Kafkas?
You know, there's the people who work at Kafkas.
What is Kafkas?
Kafkas is they're for children. They work with the social services.
And what did they do to you?
They touch each other. They touch me. They have plastic and they can stick it in our bottom.
Who does? Who sticks it in your bottom?
Social services. Everybody does. All of them.
Who?
Everybody.
Does your mother do it?
No.
Do I do it?
No.
Who does it then?
The school.
Parents.
My dad's fair.
Tell me more people. Tell me some more people, please.
Parents, police.
What about the teachers at school? Who's the main one?
Papa, Mr. Warnings, Mr. Forsyth.
Who's Mrs. Forsyth?
She's the head teacher of our school.
And what does she do?
And she has said she got a big belly up with a big tattoo on her throat.
What happens in the church?
And we do baby sacrifice and eat the baby.
What do you mean sacrifice and eat the baby?
So we kill the baby and eat it and drink the blood from it.
Is that true, Gabriel?
Yes. And we dance with the skulls.
You what?
We dance with the skulls in the church.
What skulls?
Skulls of the baby.
Pardon?
The skulls of the baby.
You dance with the baby skulls. And who kills the baby?
Papa, me, and Lisa.
Who kills the babies?
Papa.
And what? He gets you to help him?
Yes.
When the faces aren't blurred out, if you saw the children's faces, the alarm, when they say, when we kill the babies, and Abraham says, who kills the babies? This is one of the classic ways of keeping children in the cult or keeping them silent, is they try and implicate them. They try and make them feel like they're murderers and they're guilty. So the look in the children's eyes was horrific when they shared that. I'll just go on a bit with this and then we'll carry on a bit.
So he tells us to hold the hand in a knife, and then he holds his hand on our hand, and then he cuts the baby's head off. And then he puts it upside down, and then we drain the blood.
And then what they do?
And then we cook it, and then we drink the blood,
Okay, I've stopped the share there because that was showing a little bit. I'll go back to sharing, but
I was on a Wednesday, please.
Wednesday is
Okay.
the most busiest day of
share
the
screen done.
and today it's Wednesday.
I didn't mean to stop the share.
Probably right now on Wednesday in school they would have done lots and lots of sex to me. And Wednesday's the most sex day.
Right, I need to tell you something about the Wednesday thing as well, Jesus, and this might be new information. Somebody sent me information last year because the children talked about Wednesdays being the busiest sex day, and how people from outside the school, not the teachers and parents, not the normal clients, but people from outside would come and have sex with the children. And somebody sent me details of a private cinema club in Hampstead. And I will send you the links. In an ideal world, we should have had a decent copper to send that intel onto and have them look into it, because it completely lines up with what the children were saying about Wednesdays being the busiest day, and lots of other people come to have sex with the children. That there's a private film club in Hampstead that meets on Wednesdays. And it's very, very dodgy looking. Right, so I'll go out of that one and we'll see what's next. You're still with me, aren't you?
Yes, I'm still here.
Right, that's upsetting, but let's carry on.
So
I want to get more of the evidence as well. I want to get, that's devastating, but like, okay, Tavistock Institute. Where did we get to? Are you a robot? That one was. Everything is connected. Peterscape Royals. Pay attention. Hampstead, Camden, Tavistock. Is this a good one to go into?
I think it's the next one at the top, that one, yeah.
Yeah,
That's the
this
one.
one. Yeah, that's what I thought I remembered. Right, go on then. Just talk us
There you
through
go.
this.
I'll let you look at it.
Yeah, I'm familiar with some of this, but you talk us through it. It's the Tavistock Institute in London, isn't it? It's on Tavistock Square. Temple secretaries. Rockefeller Foundation, there you go. 17 area groups, yeah. Yeah. British mind control plot to overthrow America.
Now, this bit here is a government document that's it's in a public domain on MK Ultra and Operation Bluebird and Project Bluebird.
Yeah, this links up with a lot of what I endured and suffered in the military, in the Royal Air Force, as a child in projects.
So when it gets to the next bit in blue, you'll see what I've highlighted, and you'll be.
I'm losing audio on you.
I said when it gets to the next bit in blue, in a minute, you will see that. Here we go. We're getting to it.
I've lost audio on you. People can.
Can you hear me now? Yeah? Can you hear me now?
I'm just going to go out of that because I lost audio when you were talking. And that is brilliant. People have to look at that. That links up with a lot of what I am a survivor of also. And the big misconception about Paperclip, Project Paperclip, and trauma-based mind control is everybody thinks it just happened in America. So the main narrative is that after World War II, Nazi scientists were recruited and imported to America to continue with their research. But the big secret is it was via the UK, it was via the Tavistock Institute, it was via the Royal Air Force, it was via the Rothschilds. And a lot of my work with Kathy Morgan proves that with the funding and the projects. Just projects like, for instance, just a random project was the Irish were identified as a race that were difficult to suppress or control or manage. And so they decided, okay, well, what we'll do is we'll set up something to encourage intermarriage between the Irish and the English. And that'll civilize the Irish, that'll water down their bloodline and make them a bit easier to manage. So they put a lot of money into setting up all these little projects where 100,000 marriageable age 16 to 25 English girls would go to Ireland, and vice versa, 100,000 Irish men would go to England, and they would just manipulate this intermarrying in a eugenics kind of crazy ass program. Let's water down the Irish blood and the Irish temperament by intermarrying them. And they did the same with black-white thing. They tried, the two races they identified as hard to manage were the Celts and the African or Jamaican black races. They found them very hard to conquer. And so one of their solutions was, I know what we'll do. We'll interbreed. We'll set up ways to foster mixing the races. And that way we might be able to water down the spirit of rebellion or the spirit of autonomy. You know, it's when you go deep into this research, it's horrific. The Tavistock Institute.
While you're there, yeah, click on that. Everything is connected to Pizzagate, Royals, and VIP paedophiles.
Okay. For some reason, I lost your volume while I was playing the last one. So let's hope this one, I can still hear your commentary. But if not, it speaks for itself.
Yep.
And I just hope people will go to this channel. And this is all backed up safely in other places, isn't it?
Yep, it is, yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Because it needs to be, because this is the kind of stuff they don't want getting out, you know? Now why? Oh, right, play.
Let's start at the beginning.
Harvey Weinstein, Hillary, Jeffrey Epstein, Harvey, Tony Blair, Richard Branson. Yeah, this is, no, I've got to go back. This is so important. Mick Jagger.
Angela,
Mick Jagger, look at this, and Prince Andrew. Here you go, Sean Atwood. Here you go. Here's some clues. Jimmy Savile, Rolf Harris. Yeah, well, that's well known, but I want to go back to that other one before there. Who's that? Who's that? Hey?
You've got
Ted Heath, Tony Blair, Jimmy Savile. Who's that?
I forgot his name.
Is that Lord McAlpine?
I'm not sure. It might
All right,
be.
Okay. And then
I don't know. That Lord. I can't remember that Lord.
All right, I think one might be Lord McAlpine. Anyway, they're all implicated. Tony Blair, Miranda. Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. Is that Jeremy Corbyn? Oh, Jesus. Joe Biden. Ugh. Poor children. Ghislaine Maxwell. I don't know why she hasn't been arrested. That's outrageous. Prince Philip. Charles. Elvis, poor Elvis. Cliff Richard, Elm Guest House, Kitty. The Beatles, yeah. Some people still don't know about that. Ugh, Gary Glitter. I got one of the worst beatings of my life. He was in Trowbridge, Wiltshire, and I was about 14. And the same night as he was appearing, my parents mysteriously disappeared, which I presume was for some connected SRA gathering. And I was grounded, and I snuck out to see Gary Glitter at Trowbridge. And then I was going to get home in time so I wouldn't be caught by my parents because they were out. But I found this young girl in the toilets getting beaten up by 3 other girls. And we used to wear hoop earrings, and they'd ripped her earring out and her ear was pumping blood. And I just found bravery from somewhere, and I started screaming at them to leave her alone, and they ran away. But whatever happened, it delayed me getting home. And when I got home, I got the worst hiding off my father. My mother hit me like crazy, and she didn't usually do that. And then my father gave me the most horrendous beating. And I think it wasn't because I went out when I was grounded. I think it was more to do with what my parents were doing around the Gary Glitter thing. Horrible man. Horrible man. I'd like to identify all of these. I know that's Jimmy Savile, Rolf Harris, Gary Glitter. I'd like to identify those. Oh, that looks like Max Clifford. These are all, like, if people just went through, cross-check the Queen's Honours list of who's been made a Sir or a Lord or an MBE or an OBE, and they cross-checked that with convicted paedophiles, they would be horrified. And then if you look at Lord Mountbatten, Louis Mountbatten, Prince Charles. Everybody's focusing on Randy Andy. They're completely skipping 2 generations. They're skipping testimony about the Queen Mother and the Hope de la Garenne Children's Home and the island of Jersey. They're skipping the missing children in Canada, the children that went missing with Prince Philip and the Queen on a visit. They're skipping Prince Charles and allegedly being given to Lord Mountbatten that he would be able to claim Charles's virginity in exchange for Louis Mountbatten arranging the marriage with Prince Philip. This is a decades. This goes on for decades, people. Yeah, I love that meme. That is such a fucking good meme. Ooh. Right, we'll just go out of that for a while. God, no, it's too good, actually. Did you make this, Jesus?
Yeah, I made this.
The two of them. They're the only 2 that have been outed so far. And Andy is guilty as hell, but it's interesting how they're skipping out over Charlie and Louis Mountbatten and Edward and all the other royals. They're just skipping.
I'm just going to say as well is that's very frequent. It's very frequently known. Yeah, if you look through some of the companies, and you'll see which people, directors, and companies which are in formations, i.e. linked to past royals or Jimmy Savile or charities, which are linked to 788790 Finchley Road and Tavistock.
Tavistock, yeah. Did you make that video? Did you make that video I just shared?
Okay. Yeah, I made that video.
Fantastic job. Right, so where are we going next? I'm going to have a look. Right, rewind in the beginning. I don't want to give too much oxygen to the trolls. I think they've been fairly well exposed. Freemason women in London, 90. Yeah, light always outshines the darkness. Finchley Road, A1 Company Services. Kai and Associates is connected to Karen Irving, isn't it?
Yes.
Should we have a look at that?
Yeah, it's a company document.
Right, we'll have a quick look and then we'll do. I don't want to make this go on too long because people's attention span. But I'm just like so disgusted. I can't keep saying it enough. I'm so disgusted at John Wedger telling me to stand down when I've been doing this kind of work for years and years and years. I'm disgusted with him. I'm absolutely disgusted.
Do you know, I'd just like to say as well, for the fact that while you're on this point, that how can I say, it's like these people who are trolling, right? It's like he knows Hoaxted research, and many people know that it's Hoaxted research, right? And the fact of them ignoring it and trying to out somebody who is a good person when you know full well, or they know full well, it's Hoaxted research. Why wouldn't they out Hoaxted research? Why wouldn't them out them?
But I think they've taken it up a level. I think Hoaxted research has pretty much collapsed. Right?
No, it has. I'm saying why are people, yeah, like they know exactly what they're doing in the community to people. Do you know what I mean? People know what Hoaxted research are doing, right? And it's like all the signs are there, right? They're all connected to it. Like I haven't mentioned satanic ritual abuse. I'm mentioning child abuse. You feel me? And that's the point of what we've pulled out here. We ain't mentioning satanic ritual abuse here. We're mentioning.
Well, I do. That's one of the things I do shine a light on. But the point I'm making is, I think we fairly hammered Hoaxted, right? And we exposed them, and it's horrific. It's horrific. Even the people they used for trolling. So I think that's fairly in the bag. So there's a saying, if you want to control the opposition, the best way to do it is lead it. And I don't think it's wrong to say that they've started this huge movement, you know, with David Icke at the top, but he's kind of stepping back a bit, and then Sean Atwood, and then Anna Brees, who used to work for the Rothschilds, and then John Wedger, who has questions to answer about when exactly he stopped being a policeman and why he was particularly good at going undercover, and what happened with why he went to get Andrew Ashworth to discredit himself, and why did he not get behind the Hampstead case until he was forced to. So there's all those questions. So you can call it a trust issue or damage, but my question is, now they've realised that Hoaxdead research has run its course, it's been exposed, have they now gone up a level? Like, we'll do some documentaries, and we'll do some massive interviews, and we'll do some getting together and feeling good and all having stickers, and we'll discredit all these truth tellers that have just been plodding along regardless of views or shadow banning, and have just been plodding along, putting out the truth. I just wonder, is this the new suppression of the bigger picture? And I'm still grateful for the fact that they name Leon Britton now, they name Greville Janner now, they name obviously Jimmy Savile was outed, but it's still dead people they're naming. Why don't they name Ricky Dearman? You know,
Angela,
why don't...
I was going to say, why don't people also understand the fact that how many SRA victims are in the public domain as well? Because people don't seem to understand how many actual SRA victims are in the public domain.
Well, it's almost the entire, you could almost say it's every government politician. It's almost the entire cabinet. It's like, I would say 80% of people in positions of power and influence have been either blackmailed along the way, or they've come out of intergenerational satanic ritual abuse families. They've been sent to boarding school to be sodomized at aged 8. You know, they've been raised in families where they are made to help murder babies and then feel like they're murderers and they can't speak up. You know, one of the things about Ricky Dearman is the children said his mother and I think they said his granny as well, but they definitely said his mother, their granny, was involved as well. You know, so this has been going on. The Illuminati plan their plans. They make, where we might make a 2-year plan or a 5-year plan, they make a 100-year plan. Anyway.
So my next step, is that I'd like to say, if you don't mind me saying, is that people who are aware now, Angela, people need to be like, saying something. Do you feel me?
Yeah.
Because obviously there's no need to be scared of these people.
No. Well, it is scary. They have killed some. They have sectioned some. John Patterson's still not free. Carol Woods is still being injected. I'm under threat and my reputation's been destroyed, even by the likes of supposed to be friendly fire. John Wedger, supposed to be helping survivors, you know, dissing me, dissing Brian Harvey, dissing Eddie Is Okay, dissing Cat Scott, you know, just, it's like friendly fire is the worst of all. But I think the breakthrough is that we need people to come forward again. And can we just mention, I think we've looked at, I think people can see that your video, they have to go and visit your channel and look at some of these, you know, these are just gold. And like the ones where we've tracked down the paper trail to the baby snuff movies and the BBC and the New York Times, that's forensic evidence that's undeniable. So I want people to go there. But can we just address, for instance, the anomaly of is it okay to mention that channel I was just talking to you about before we started recording? Do you think that's a good idea, or should we sit on that for a while?
I would sit on that.
I
would sit on, but I would say is what I'm gonna mention is, right, that in the beginning there was Hampstead research, wasn't there?
Yeah, which was fantastic.
Yep. And what did Hoaxstead Research do, for example?
Oh, they trolled them to death. They trolled them out of existence. They sabotaged them. They just trolled them to death. Right, oh, that was the other thing I was going to look at. Right, this is some of Ricky Dearman's sock accounts, which is just boring. But look here, Jesus the Lost Prophet, Lizzie Borden, Bleeding Heart, Snarky Sarky, Prometheus, Morsey Moors, Grease Frightening, Mixed Up, Chris E, Vincent Vegan. The vegan thing is big. We need to go into that in another show. Laria Vanguard, Sam Best, Scap OG, blah, blah. It just goes on and on.
The list is endless.
He says on his comment via this video of himself, slice of fruitcake.
And his channel.
Yeah, 5 hours ago. By the way, nice attempt to intimidate me by saying you've hacked into... We don't do hacking, do we, Jesus?
And
it's
that's
all public domain. It's all public domain.
That's the funniest thing. When people go to that, all I did was type his email address in from the Google Drive, which he left open, which he posted himself.
They tripped themselves up. Right, can I read this one? Joanne Solis finally exposed herself. Can I read that out, or do you want me to go off that? A year and a half too late. I'll just move along. Ian Puddick, he's in there. He's part of the
that video you just mentioned, that video was done last year, I think it was, or I think it was 2019. I'm not sure. I think it was one of them to what I've just said, and that was near enough in the beginning, if I must say. But I was just going to say, Angela, before we cut this off, there's a few people as well that you've missed out. For example, who they have also been attacking. I'm going to mention some names.
Okay, go for it.
Sips Clips, who they've been attacking.
Sips Clips,
for example.
Yeah, what do you think about him? I think he's a good guy, but he's misguided on some things.
Yeah, he's cool, man. I sit there and I listen to him.
Yeah,
I do
sometimes.
Stuff. Yeah, there's a few good people. I don't know.
They trolled him almost into a nervous breakdown. He went offline for a while. They trolled him. They trolled him to a horrendous degree. I don't agree with him on everything. He's very anti-Christian, and he thinks the COVID-19 is all 100%, bona fide. But I can agree to disagree with him. I think he's hilarious, and I think he's very brave, and he's done a great service to exposing trolls. He's helped a lot.
I'm gonna go through and say Tom Dunn through the black.
Oh yeah. No, they've seriously. Oh my God, they sent the FBI round to his house. They've made all sorts. They've done the same. It's like a playbook. It's like character assassination. Involve the crooked authorities to try and pressure them. Tom Dunn definitely. LondonHasASecret.com.
Yeah. We know about Matt Taylor, Andrew Devine. We know about Eddie and Kat Scott, don't we? And Hope Girl.
Hope Girl, yeah, definitely.
We can't forget Seven either.
Yeah, Seven, yeah, definitely. And even what happened to Shane Gibbs, targeted individual?
Yeah, another guy as well.
Yeah, because he tried to support Brian Harvey, and then
Another guy, Sean Morris. I don't know if you know of him.
He's on my friends list. What have they done to him?
It was all targeting him in the beginning as well, and another platform called Wake Up UK, who there was all targeting as well. There was all targeting them people.
And also Aaron Dover, who ended up committing suicide. They targeted him. I hold them responsible for his death.
Got Jake Clark as well, another person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who's
Arthur Cattell. Arthur Cattell used to go on with Danielle Leverite back in 2013, 14, and he tried to help big time with Hampstead. They got him sectioned for a year, and I think he's still force medicated. Yeah, these people they're not playing.
you could go for hours. You could even go through like we stated, the old Hampstead research people who obviously Hoaxstead don't want them people to be reignited.
Lee Kant, look at Lee Kant, look at Nilu, look at Charlotte Ward, look at I mean, even Sabine, even though there's complications and there's history there, this is, in the old days, they would just bump people off. But in the internet days, they can't bump you off so easily. So what they do is try and get you to commit suicide, really, or lose yourself in addiction, or else, you know, destroy you online so much that people like John Wedger can stand up and say, Angela Power Disney, stand down from working on the internet. You're weird and you're a troll. It's like, he dares to say we're doing MI5's job. He's doing the troll's job. I'm sorry.
Can I just say something to you as well, right? I'll say this to the audience. I think it was last year or the year before, there was a woman, right? I do not know the woman. I only interacted with her once, but I was in her group. I think it was on Facebook, right? And she had over 60,000 people in her group. She had a page, she had a website, a blog, you name it, everything. And she left one comment, right? One comment, and I mean one comment, right? And that one comment, right, that she made, she said nothing which was an insult, anything. These people, right, Hoaxstead Research, they targeted her business. They got all the groups, all of the things shut down, everything. All she was doing, right, she was helping people, i.e. survivors. She was hunting paedophiles, yeah, and she was basically talking about 5G. She had a 5G group. They had all of the groups shut down. And she had to shut all of her business, all their websites. She had to shut all of her stuff down because of these people. They let out the identity of her mum, dad, sister, everybody. Yeah, even down to a child, right? And this wasn't just the average one person. This is a whole group.
It's like a life's work. She might have spent a decade building that work to help other people.
You know the domino effect, where they get your bank card shut down, they get your PayPal shut down, they get your business account shut down, they're reporting you for fraud, yeah, we're making false flags, false claims, yeah, and let's just say this to YouTube, Angela, before we come off this live feed, yeah, we do not need another innocent death via social media because of Hoaxstead research and trolls in itself. You feel me? Innocent people. If we didn't have a strong spirit or a strong will, yeah, look at these people who are being trolled, or these people who have how many split different personalities, or who have a medical problem, who from these people saying one thing, yeah, that'd be it. You might not see them again.
To push them over the edge. I know. And there were more like trying to think of other people that got pulled into it. Like even last week, when I had a 60-day ban on Facebook, which mysteriously got lifted after 7 days, but a friend of mine just posted my video on my Facebook saying, this is why Angie's not on Facebook, because I have survivors contacting me nearly every day, and sometimes they're very vulnerable. So she just put those videos up. She got targeted. She got threatened. If you help Angela Power Disney again, you can expect to be targeted.
Before we go, right, if you know anybody, say for an example, who is a paedophile hunter or is in a hunting group or is exposing paedophilia, yeah, you see these people, these are the kind of people which will help the paedophiles. They won't help the paedophile hunters. They'll go into a group, see which is the hunter, which is the main person, try to set about the main person.
That's what Chris Costa did to Charlotte Ward. She said to Charlotte Ward, you need to be on Facebook. So she made her a Facebook group, and then she threw her out of it. She harvested all the researchers and all the information, and then threw Charlotte Ward out of it, and she took over the page.
That's what they do.
Andy Ross, they recruit survivors as well, like Lee Jesson and Andy Ross and different ones like that. They recruit the vulnerable survivors, and they say, oh, come with us and, you know, you'll fly high. and then you end up turning the survivors against the survivors. You know, it's
Yep.
just it's a. So anyway, I just want to end in prayer. I don't know why, but I feel like it. I know we're in the midst of a COVID nightmare. I know that domestic violence is going up, mental health issues are going up, child grooming online and child exploitation is going up. Suicides are going up, addiction issues are going up, and it's all a psychological operation by crazy people to drive us into the New World Order. So I just pray that we celebrate the victories along the way, the work you've done, Jesus, and I'm not trying to big you up or make you big-headed, the work you've done in reassembling the evidence and taking it to the next level, including not only connecting Ricky Dearman to international porn distribution, but the New York Times, the BBC, Mark Thompson, and so on and so forth. The work you've done and those behind you and those beside us, I do believe we are pushing back the tide. I think we're pushing back the tsunami of the New World Order. I think we're pushing back the tsunami of the satanic ritual abusers, the tsunami of the complicated. Did you hear Ronald Bernard is dead? You know, the Dutch banker that blew the whistle and said he took part in a lot of rituals and so on, and apparently he's dead. But look, even the John Wedgers, even the Bill Maloneys, even the sort of shills or trolls, possibly compromised, whatever, I don't care. As long as people are getting truth out, get it out there. Get it out there.
And
So
remember, yeah, Angie, and just remember, if anything like people, what needs to be thinking of, right? We're all sat in COVID-19, right? Everybody's sat on the internet. Research yourself. It's a simple thing.
It's been the biggest awakening. It's like it's backfired so much because even normal people are saying, wait a minute, if this is a pandemic, I don't know anybody that's dead. You know, and like, how come you've let my business collapse? And how come all this 5G's gone up around my town? And how come this and how come that? It's like,
where's your money gone? I've been saying this for God knows how long. Where is your money going? You pay taxes for what?
Finchley Road.
Where's your money going? I even look at it and I start it and say it. Public domains, straight away.
It's all out there. There's no hacking. There are hackers. I'm delighted to see that the QAnon crowd are doing some great work. But I can say without doubt that Jesus is finding all this information just by the Holy Spirit, just by divine guidance, just online.
Like we've got more to come, just like I said, like there is more to come. But what I'm gonna leave them with the hint is they thought, they deleted and erased, and because they hacked Hampstead researches, they thought that we've deleted, we've erased all that evidence. They've got nothing. Well, do you know what? Bless the Spanish people,
Oh,
bless people. That's all I have to say.
Definitely.
Bless them
we
Spanish
have got so much information in Spanish, and it's not hard to translate. All right, Jesus, I'm going to leave it at that for now, and let's do this again in about 3 weeks. Thank you so much. And people keep praying for us, you know, keep praying for us, but mostly pray for the children. All right, God bless.
Peace.
Thank you so much, Jesus. Love you. Bye.
Peace.